Welcome back to Sunrise Daily. Now we're joined by His Excellency Omar Naladi, who is the governor-elect of Jigawa State, and he's also the deputy governor of Jigawa State. Good morning, Your Excellency. Thank you for joining us on the program today. Well, not many times that you see deputy governors eventually move up and win the governorship elections. Just a few states have managed to do that, and you being one of them. So congratulations. It might be in order for your elections that's just concluded. So, but concerning the elections, did you, well, maybe you might say you saw it coming, but how are you transiting now from your position as deputy governor, and then eventually you're going to be the one to lead the state out of the current situation to a better place?
You see, the election has come and gone, and alhamdulillah, we have won the elections. And we have already set up a transition committee, and the transition committee is working. And so we are putting all apparatus and all the tools necessary for the transition of the government from the new government, from the old government to the new government. Even though it's almost the same government, but still. We are putting a transition committee that will work to ensure that there is smooth transition.
Now, there are so many challenges ahead of you, which I'm sure you know already, because you also the deputy governor, from the economy to unemployment to education. And maybe we should start from education. The number of out-of-school children in Jigawa State is huge. There research that has broken a lot of those down in terms of the age, the demography, those who are out of school, those who dropped out of school. It's a challenge, and I imagine that will be one of the issues you want to address. So tell us about it. What is your thinking about what to do with this data?
Yeah, you see, it's true that the number of out-of-school children is a bit high, but I think in the recent years we have done a lot to reduce the number of out-of-school children. Now, because of the VESDA program we have from the federal government, a lot has been done to ensure that so many people have been brought back to school, and also the introduction of the school feeding program by the federal government and the one complemented by the state government has also helped a lot to ensure that people are retained in the school. In addition to that, in my agenda, we have intended also to look at the possibility of what we are trying to do to look at the Islamic education and the Zangaya system of education. That is, with that, we are sure that once that is reorganized and then brought into the normal education curriculum, and then we also try as much as possible to give a necessary support to it, then we feel that we'll do a lot to reduce the number of out-of-school children. And I'm sure that we will work studiously on that to ensure that we reduce the number of out-of-school children. Like I said, we have done so much this time, and then we are going to build on that through the programs we intend to do, the Zangaya system, and we want to bring the Zangaya system into the educational system, and by bringing it into education, that will give us an advantage, maybe to provide a budget line for it, and then once that is done, we are sure that we will heavily and greatly reduce the number of out-of-school children.
You know, I must actually commend Jigawa State, especially with that report that came out showing that Jigawa is second on the Ease of Doing Business Index, that list released by PEBEC. So yes, I mean, that's commendable. But when you look at the flip side, multidimensionally poor people in Jigawa State, over 5 million people, almost 6 million, makes it the fifth state with that highest number. And I wonder, how do you plan to translate that? Because on the one hand, you have that good rating that says, well, it looks like it's good to do business here, welcoming investors. But on the ground, you see that there are lots of people who are multidimensionally poor, and that's from the MBS's, that data that was released recently. So what is the thinking regarding getting people out of poverty, using that for your own good?
Yeah, you see, definitely, this administration, we have done a lot to ensure that we have reduced the level of poverty through various policies and interventions. Now, for instance, the empowerment program we have done for both youth and women has helped a lot especially to ensure that people have access to fund, and also they are able to have their petty businesses improved. And once that is done, definitely you see that the level of poverty will definitely come down. And in addition to that, we have our robust program that we want to expand the empowerment program. And also, in addition to empowerment, we also have an intention to encourage and support small and medium scale businesses. That we feel that once that is done, we support the small and medium scale businesses. We try as much as possible to provide access to fund. And also, in addition to access to fund, we try to, as much as possible, give them counseling and then to help them see how they can grow those small and medium scale businesses. With that, we feel that we will definitely be able to reduce the level of poverty. And in addition to that, you should be able to know that Jigawa is an agrarian state. We have done so much on agriculture. The cluster system of agriculture has brought a lot of advantage and also has helped to improve the economic status of our people. Now we intend to expand greatly on that. We try as much as possible to expand our irrigation facilities. Right. And once we expand our irrigation facilities, we also feel that we should be able to encourage research and development. And also we try as much as possible to have collaboration with both local and international partners so that they will have an investment in agriculture. Once that is done, we feel that will go a long way in creating more jobs. When jobs are created, and also to provide food security and also to generate more employment. And also it will also help us to increase our internally generated revenue. So definitely when we do a massive investment in agriculture, which we intend to do, to build or to upscale what we are presently doing, and we feel that we will be able to greatly reduce the level of poverty among our people.
Right. So quickly, I mean, you have a rich experience across public and private sectors. A lot of people might not know this, but you're an accountant and auditor, so figures actually mean a lot to you. So currently, 5.76 million people multidimensionally poor. What is your target? What do you plan to cut it to, at least maybe by the end of your first term, whatever time frame you want to give to it? What is your target?
Well, you see, definitely with the program we have on ground and our intention to upscale it, to scale what is on ground, then we feel that definitely by the end of the first term, we should be able to reduce the level of poverty in Jigawa State by at least 50 to 60%, inshallah.
Okay, so now, still talking some figures, the unemployment rate, according to the MBS in Jigawa State, is about 41%. But if you then combine underemployment and unemployment, they say it's about 80%, second only to Imo State here. So how do you plan to approach it? Do you have any target in terms of what you want to do with this?
Well, I think, I don't know where you got those figures, but the unemployment rate, I could remember at 2015, when we came in, it was about 38.69%. And by 2022, it was about 33.3%. So I don't know how you got the 40%, but that's exactly what we have as a figures. So, and this figure also, we intend to bring it down drastically. Like I told you that we have an advantage because of our agricultural programs. That agricultural programs has helped a lot, especially the cluster systems where youth will be encouraged to embrace farming as a business. And the government will try as much as possible to provide a lot of incentives in terms of inputs, and also we also try to provide extension service so that will assist the farmers to ensure that they have embraced farming as a business. Now, let me give, for example, if we take rice, for example, when we came in 2015, the rice production is about 2.5 tons per hectare, and the 2.5 tons per hectare. Now, because of what we have put in place in terms of extension services, in terms of provision of input, in terms of best practices, now the production has gone to about 5.5 tons per hectare, and also in some places 6 tons per hectare, and in other places even 8 tons per hectare. That has greatly improved the income of our people, and that has made our youth to embrace agriculture. And then we will try to upscale this and also as much as possible to provide more support. And once that is done, I am sure the level of poverty will definitely drastically be reduced. So we really have a plan, and then the plan is a workable plan, is something that is practicable, it's not an imaginary plan, it's something that we have tested and we have seen it work. So I'm sure by the time we have scaled it, and we will be able to reduce the level of poverty. And I think achievement of 50 to 60% reduction is going to be possible.
Well, Your Excellency, I actually went beyond 2015 and went to 2020. So it was published March 15 by the NBS, Q4 2020 NBS report on Nigeria's unemployment rate. So there they broke it down for states, and that's where we get the figure for Jigawa State, just for the records. But let me bring in my colleagues from Lagos. They got questions for you.
Yes, thank you, Chamberlain. Ms. Omar, just like you take you back quickly to the issue of education, you talked about your proposal for the introduction of Islamic education, and you made reference to Dinyadi, I believe. I'm just interested in knowing if this covers digital learning initiatives for the children, and especially to be in line with modern methods. Also, the problem of the dearth of teachers in Jigawa State, which is under this current administration, which you have served. If you were unable to tackle it under this administration, which you have served, what are you going to do differently? Mr. Namadi, did you get my question?
No, not really, because I think it's failing.
I was taking you back to the issue of education, asking specifically if your proposal for Islamic education would cover digital learning initiatives for the children to be in line with modern methods, and also relatedly the problem of the dearth of teachers in Jigawa State, which dates back in fact to the first term of your current principal. And this is an administration under which you served. So if you were unable to solve the problem, and now what would you do differently as governor-elect?
Yeah, you see, the issue of dearth of teachers, yes, is a reality. But what we intend to do is, let me tell you also, we have done a lot to improve the teacher-pupils ratio in Jigawa State, and also the issue of the digital learning tools. We have introduced the digital learning tool, Kian machines from China, and I think it has been working very well. And it has helped a lot to also improve the learning system in Jigawa State. Also, in addition to that, I think we have done about 3-4 employments during this administration, and we intend as much as possible also to upscale the digital learning process so as to reduce the dearth of teachers in our primary schools. Also, in addition to that, we have recently introduced the J-Teach system, which is also an equivalent to the N-Teach introduced by the federal government. This J-Teach has also greatly helped to improve the number of teachers in our primary school. But still, yet we are not where we want to be. But like I said, we'll, as much as possible, based on the available resources, try as much as possible to bring in more teachers, and also to upscale even the J-Teach arrangement. And also, in addition, the digital learning will also upscale it. And once we combine these three initiatives, I'm sure we'll drastically reduce the number of teachers in our secondary school.
Mr. Namadi, one of the, there are a number of issues that you've dealt with for my colleagues. But let me take you back to one issue Kade raised with you, only this time about children. It was in 2021 that your government collaborated with some organization to assess the level of poverty for children, and in August of last year, that report was released in Jigawa State that 73.9% or thereabouts of children in Jigawa State are poor. Now that is the future. What are you doing to secure their future?
Yeah, you see, like I said, you see, the level of poverty, yes, is, you see, we have a lot of programs to ensure that we have, like, for example, if we talk about agriculture, like I said, agriculture has a lot of opportunity that if we can fully utilize and harness those opportunities, we'll be able to reduce poverty. Now, also, Jigawa, we have also mineral resources. Now, we'll try as much as we have a program of rural transformation. That program of rural transformations, which we intend to do, which will involve expansion of agriculture and also trying to, as much as possible, to connect the rural economies with the agriculture and solid minerals. That will also help a lot to bring in employment, and also by bringing in employment, a lot of poverty will be reduced because people will have something doing, and also in addition to that, small businesses will spring up, and that will help a lot in reducing the level of poverty in the state. Wow. Now, also in addition to that, we have so many other things like trying as much as possible to
Your Excellency, if you can hear me,
empowerment.
My apologies, if you can hear me, I'm talking about poverty for children. That report that your government collaborated to produce says most children in the state are deprived of their basic rights for survival, protection, and development. Children, poverty for children. How is it being dealt with? Can you hear me, Your Excellency?
Well, like I said, poverty
for children, poverty in children, children. How is that being addressed?
Okay. Yeah, okay. The poverty in children also will try as much as possible to address it in the sense that now, for example, once the mothers are empowered, and once the mothers are economically empowered, then they will be able to help reduce the poverty from the children. Now, and also the issue of we have issue of malnutrition that also has to do with the poverty, and I think we have done a lot on that. The recent survey by UNICEF has shown that Jigawa State has done a lot of investment in terms of that, and we are going to upscale that. Once that is done, we'll definitely be able to reduce the poverty in children also.
Well, it's a long way, Your Excellency, and clearly your job is cut out for you. Because another issue that's been perennial in Jigawa State is that of flooding, which have been said to have destroyed power lines, roads, houses, and telecom infrastructure. More than 60,000 houses at some point within the past 2 years or thereabout got destroyed as a result of it. We know it is coming. What are the challenges that's making it difficult for Jigawa State to address the problem of flooding, destroying lives and property? And what are you going to do about it?
Yeah, you see, the issue of flooding is something that I've been seen from the surface, but you see, it's something that is multidimensional. Now, for example, the flooding is as a result of so many reasons. Now, the ones, for example, like I said, the river overflow. These our river banks are overflowing every year in, year out. And you see, these rivers are not being maintained for so many years. And this is an issue that requires a lot of funding. We have complained this to the federal government, we have complained to the relevant authorities, and they have understood what we are saying. And I think now there is a collaborative effort that is going on. For instance, recently, His Excellency, the governor, has ordered for 2 machines that will be used to remove the taifa grass and also to do part of the dredging. Also, the Hadeja Jama area has also brought in 2 machines. Now, presently, already a technical committee is working, and His Excellency the Governor have also set up 2 technical committees. One to ensure that this issue of flooding is dealt with, and that technical committee is strongly working in conjunction with the Hadeja Jama River. So we also, as much as possible, try to see we upscale this process and we sustain this process, and by what we have, even as at day before yesterday, we had a meeting with MD Hadeja Jama'are, His Excellency, and myself, and at the meeting, the MD Hadeja Jama'are has told us as much as possible they have put in place several measures to ensure that at least the level of flooding is reduced by about 60%. And that will be very great. And also, in addition to that, we are also given a lot of enlightenment to the people along the river banks, so as to ensure that as much as possible, the level of destruction has been reduced to barest minimum. And I'm sure with all the effort put in place by both the state government and the Hadeja Jama'are, then I'm sure really the next year flooding will definitely be a minimum, even if it will be there.
Yes, Mr. Namadi, just to take you very quickly back to the issue of malnutrition, my colleague just took the question right out of my mind. Relatedly now to the problem of child poverty, the community-based management of acute malnutrition centers that you have in Jigawa has a problem of abscondment, by the way, to the tune of 39,155 in recent times. You say that empowerment of mothers will help to tackle this problem. But I want you to be specific about the initiatives, because if this is at the heart of the issues, then the increase, that coming from the United Nations Children's Emergency Fund is insignificant if this is the situation in Jigawa State.
Yeah, you see, like I said, the empowerment of mothers, we have so many programs. We have the cash transfer system introduced by the state government for pregnant women and lactating mothers, and that cash transfer is working very well. Also, in addition to that, the state government is also, in addition to our God breeding programs, which are normally for women, giving a lot of empowerment for women, and that has really been a very successful program with a retention rate of about 80% and recovery rate of about 90%. So we intend to upscale that program, and that program is really giving the woman a lot of economic independence. So once that is upscaled, and also at the same time try as much as possible to also upscale the cash transfer system, which the state government is introducing. I think that will go a long way in giving a lot of economic independence to the woman. And once that is done, I'm sure we will be able to greatly reduce the poverty in children.
All right. Let's wind down now. By the way, I mean, it's good to see that states can also get involved with electricity, the value chain. So perhaps you're looking to latch onto that. But quickly, it looks like this election has brought up the whole Emirates, will I say, rivalry now between Hadejia and Dutse. We saw what played up until this moment, and I wonder how do you plan to do that? Yes, Jigawa might seem to be a quiet state, but there are the intricate politics that go on, and I mean, Jigawa has been largely peaceful. So what are your plans to mend those fences and calm the frayed nerves?
You see, the emeritism politics is always being overbloated outside, but we that are in Jigawa, we know that is really a minimal something. It's not something that has significance to affect the relationship that is going on between the people of Jigawa State. Now, for example, you see that the election was a very successful election. We were able to win in the 26 out of the 27 local government, and that has shown that, and with a very wide margin, and that has shown that Jigawa people are one, and all of us are one, and we work together for the growth of the state. So the issue of emeritism as a factor that is dividing the state, I think, is only been overbloated. As far as we are concerned, in Jigawa, we are all one, and we are all one people. Whether Hadejia and Dutse, there is nothing. Hadejia and Dutse, we have a lot of intermarriages, we have a lot of relationships, a lot of things are in common. So the issue of emeritism, I think, is just being overbloated outside the state, but we that are in the state, we know that that is not significant enough. It's not even worth mentioning as a factor.
All right, Your Excellency, we're out of time, but we hope that you will address, because I think in 2021, October 2021, the NUT had said that they had a 9,000 teacher gap in Jigawa State that needed to be addressed. So we're hoping that you look into all of those as well, because you've got plans for education. But we have to thank you for talking to us this morning. Omar Namadi, the Governor-elect of Jigawa State and Deputy Governor at the moment. Thank you very much indeed for talking to us, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right, so that is the show today. We do thank you all for watching. We'll see you again tomorrow. I'm Chamberlain, so have a very good day.
I'm Kayode Kikilu from here in the nation's capital, but who knows? You might see me somewhere else tomorrow.
Transfer window or not.
Fingers crossed on that. Thank you for watching. I'm Bukola Koka.
Please have a wonderful day and keep praying for Nigeria. We're still one. I'm Ayo Makinde. Have a wonderful day.